Hey everybody, welcome to Wisconsin Wonder Garden. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about harvesting your Columbine seeds. As you can tell, this thing is flowered and we have a ton of seed pods on here. I'm going to show you right now. If you can see, it is not time to harvest them yet because these pods are still totally green and they're really sticky yet. So I know a lot of us will want to get out into our gardens and start harvesting seeds as soon as we can. If your seed pods still look like this, it is not time to harvest. You gotta wait just a little bit longer. So it's now July 14th and these things are ready to harvest. It's really quite easy to tell when the pods are ready for harvest as they'll change color, like so, and then they will actually open up on top, so the seeds can quite literally just dump right out. So let's get these harvested. There's a couple of things that you can do with your Columbine. If you want it to keep on growing in this area that it's in, you could just pick one of these right off and then shake it onto the soil. Those seeds will have no problem germinating just like that. Or you can save them for later. Just get a white envelope, which is what we're going to do right now, and throw all the seeds into them. I'm going to collect a majority of these, so stay tuned as we're going to find out just about how many we have off of this one plant. To do that, instead of ripping every single one off, I'm just going to go and trim up the stalks right here. That'll not only help out our process in collecting these seeds, but that'll also help out the plant for the rest of the year and making sure that all of the energy is going towards the right places to help ensure that this Columbine can live for as many years as possible. Because if you just let these grow and do their thing every single year without any sort of cutting, sometimes they burn out a little bit quicker that way. So they do take well to deadheading, taking off the flowers right after they bloom so they don't go to seed, and then, you know, chopping off stuff like this. They take really well too, so don't be afraid to do that to your Columbine. Let's see how many thousands of seeds we got here. So then to collect these seeds, we just flip this upside down in a bag so they don't get all over the place. And we'll just shake it up. That way we'll get all of those seed pods as I showed you guys, the ones that were opened up. And here we see, we'll just grab a handful. We've got a ton of seeds in there and I haven't even opened up the pods that weren't already open yet. One way that I'm harvesting these seeds, and it's going to be kind of hard to do it with one hand, but I'm just chopping off the top just like they would. So once they open up naturally, that's kind of like what they'd be like. And then pinch it off there or cut it off. And then from that point, I'm just taking it and shaking it off like that, down into the bag and on to the next pod. Here we have the final product. We have about a third cup of Columbine seeds from the one plant. There is thousands and thousands of seeds in here, so definitely a high producer, if way more than any person would need for themselves. When planting these, here's a couple of things that you want to keep into consideration. If you are planting them outside in your garden and starting them out there, throw the seeds out, just direct sow them late fall. That way they will come up in the springtime for you guys. When you are storing these seeds over winter and maybe germinating them inside, make sure they're in a cool, dry place. We don't want them to be frozen. We don't want them to be in a high humidity conditions, and we also don't want them to be exposed to too much light. So a cool, dark place with low humidity is the best thing for these guys. Once you go to germinate them inside, say it is like March and you want to get these things planted outside in May or something like that, maybe a little bit earlier or later depending on where you guys are. But what you want to do is throw them in the refrigerator with some damp paper towel, not too wet, but just enough water to keep these guys happy and not completely dry out in the fridge. Keep them in the fridge for 3 to 6 weeks. That way they can get what's called stratification. What this 3 to 6 weeks in the refrigerator does is essentially it sends that signal to the seed that it's time to sprout, just as like it were to go through different weather changes throughout the winter season after the seeds have dropped in the fall. That's what you're duplicating there. It's just sending a signal to the seed that it's time to germinate. So with that being said, I am about to store these up in several different paper bags and possibly get these up for sale. If it's to the point where I got that done, the link will be in the description below. If not, I just haven't gotten around to it, or maybe it's not very profitable. But I'll be certainly sending some of these out to a few people who have asked for it, whether it be friends, family, or a couple of viewers said that they would love to get some of our Columbine seeds. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great and wonderful gardening adventure. Take care.